What do you learn from these things, from these conversations?
I don't think I fully understood the scope of government investment in a corporation like GM. The state of Ohio has spent, the taxpayers of Ohio spent $82 million ensuring this corporation's success here in Lordstown. Our federal government in the Trump administration cut a $2 trillion tax cut that flowed to corporations like GM, who instead of using that money to pay their workers a better salary or keeping the plant here in Lordstown open, bought back stock from their shareholders. They're sitting on record piles of cash. They're as profitable as they've been, and they paid $0 in taxes last year. So GM has a responsibility to Lordstown, to the workers who made this company a success, to those who've worked 26 years in the company, need 4 more to get to 30 so that they can have that pension, that retirement, that health care for life that they've worked so hard for. And all of that for so many is slipping away. This town had 14,000 jobs 25 years ago. There are now 200 jobs at the plant, and even those are being scheduled to be cut. So it's not just the employees, it's not just their families. As Dave, the president of 1112, said, it's the barbershop, it's the cafe, it's a small business owner here in this town who no longer is going to be able to make it unless we can figure something out.
So what do you make then of the president taking shots at somebody like Dave over the plant closing?
You know, the president with his actions has added insult to injury. Not only has he done nothing to prevent this job loss, he actually blames the workers and their leadership and the UAW president here in 1112 for something that GM and his administration caused. He's literally financed GM's ability through this tax cut to move jobs elsewhere, to choose their shareholders over the communities that have created the value, over the workers and their families that have produced their success. So we need to listen to people like Dave Green.
So when President Trump won this state, he promised, these jobs are never leaving. In fact, all these jobs are coming back. As part of these conversations, I mean, are those realistic promises? Like in an O'Rourke presidency, are all these jobs coming back, or is that an unrealistic promise?
It's interesting. Dave was just telling us about one of his fellow employees who, now that this plant has been reallocated, is forced to drive 8 hours and spend the majority of his week in another town away from his family, and how he gets 1 day at home with his 5-year-old son, and he says that son clings on to him for dear life. So many of these families being broken up. So not only has President Trump failed in his commitment and failed this town of Lordstown, he's also done nothing to reverse the losses that we've seen here. So I asked Dave, the UAW president here, what can we do to get those jobs back? He said we can ensure that our trade policies and our tax code does not incentivize offshoring these jobs. GM pays lower taxes on the cars that they're importing here than the cars that are made here. Making any tax cuts conditional on the benefits flowing to communities and to workers. And then understanding that you have one of the most skilled, qualified, highly trained, hardest working workforces in the country, in this community. And GM would be very lucky to make its cars and the rest of its lines here. Short of that, and I think UAW here is going to do everything they can to make sure that they can salvage something from GM's investment and the public's investment. Perhaps there are other auto manufacturers who could locate a plant here. The investment's been made. The workforce is here. This community is ready. It's just lacking in leadership at the highest levels of power.
Good enough for me. Did you ask Sherrod Brown for his endorsement when you called him today?
I didn't. No, I just asked him for his advice. Wanted to give him the courtesy of letting him know I was going to be in the state. And he was very helpful on the phone, but I imagine he's going to be very helpful to every candidate who puts in a call.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.